సంవత్సరం ఇంటర్మీడియట్ సెకండ్ ఇయర్ చదువుతున్న విద్యార్థులకు అవగాహన కల్పించేందుకు అత్తాపూర్లోని శ్రీ అభిదా కాలేజ్ డైరెక్టర్ శ్రీనివాసరావు విద్యార్థులకు సలహాలు సూచనలు అందజేశారు. ఇంటర్మీడియట్ రెండవ సంవత్సరం చదువుతున్న విద్యార్థులు ఇప్పుడు చాలా చురుకుగా మెలగాల్సిన సమయం అని తెలిపారు. అతి తక్కువ సమయంలో ఇంటర్ బోర్డు పరీక్షలతో పాటు జేఈఈ, నీట్ లాంటి జాతీయ పోటీ పరీక్షలు ఒకవైపు వస్తున్నాయని, ఈ సమయంలో విద్యార్థులు కన్ఫ్యూజ్ కాకుండా ఏకాగ్రతతో ప్రణాళికాబద్ధంగా చదువుకోవాలని సూచించారు.
తీసుకోవడానికి problems, with which problems are you coming towards us, so that we are advising you. It's an interaction ante we doubts
it's compared to maths and chemistry, so how should I do? Should I practice more maths and chemistry, or should I concentrate on physics?
Like I always tell you, if you feel you're already weak in physics at this time, you definitely should strengthen yourself in math and chemistry for sure, but don't completely neglect physics. Okay, there are some topics which you are already strong with, and there are some topics where you can go topics. There will be topics where you're not at all on the same level. So it is not the right time. Better if you only concentrate on the topics that you already know and that you are little weak at. Strengthen yourself on maths and chemistry so that you get the total score good amount. Okay. If this is the time, I wouldn't really stress you to cover mechanics, because you can practice a million questions in mechanics and you will face a new question in mechanics. To first year topics. In first year topics, the amount of preparation that you do and the range of questions that you do, topics you can actually practice a little more, because they are not in a wide range. No matter how much you practice, there is always a new question. You can prepare a new question. But with the rest of the topics, like the second half of the first year syllabus, and then second year syllabus, where you talk about electrostatics, current electricity, magnetism, all these topics, they have a very limited number of style questions. I think you should concentrate on the second year syllabus more, especially the modern physics part. Not just for you, concentrating on second year syllabus will be a lot more efficient compared to first year marks than you shouldn't. You should know what your exam is. In 25 questions, if you are solving half of the questions, you're already going to get a really good questions of paper. If you're not aiming for 300 marks out, 100 marks out of 100 marks in physics, why are you attempting for 25 questions? Don't do that. Know your strength.
When it comes about practicing, what do we have to do? Like, do the ones which we actually know and increase the accuracy level and like complete it in a very limited time, or just go to a question where it is like completely different, which there are chances of facing it in the exam. Try spending time on that, or first be very perfect at what we are.
No, being it is a high time, then again get perfection. Let's say, suppose if you were able to cover up around 80% of the overall syllabus, if you are so good at 80% of the overall syllabus, even though you neglect remaining 20%, still you have a chances of getting All India below 100 rank. So that instead of going through remaining 20% syllabus, instead of wasting your time or taking unnecessary headache at this moment, I would suggest you to cover up all the perfect areas first of all. Once you are good, once you get perfection out of all completed areas, if you still get more time, if you are left with any more time, you can divert, you can use that time to cover up the remaining areas. But don't touch new areas until you are so perfect upon the confident areas. Okay?
You didn't learn the subject in a right way. Okay, if you learn the subject, if you learn the concept in the right way, it doesn't really happen in the subject in the practice time. And also, like I told you people, practice time must look like you're writing the exam. You cannot just relax during the practice time, solve 5 to 10 questions during the practice time, and then attempt 25 questions in 1 hour in the exam. You have to practice in such a way that you're writing the exam. You should push yourself to solving 25 questions, 30 questions in 1 hour to that extent. And also, if you're not able to do that, there must be something wrong with the subject in the first place that you learned. I think I suggest, if that is happening, I think I suggest you to go through the classes again. It is not the right thing to do at this point. Again, just go for the specific amount of topics where you are a little weak at. Go to those concepts again. Cover the concepts properly, then come to the problems. If you cover the concept properly, you will definitely get the question. If you're not getting it, that means you're not getting the concept in the first place. Okay?
So basically, like it's not about not knowing the concept. I know the concept, but there are still mistakes like calculation and at the last step. At the last step.
Okay, usually concepts, and maybe because of limited amount of time available for every question, and there is a target that you should finish that question within 2 minutes if it is JEE main kind of exams. In that hurry up, students usually commit some mistakes, like instead of placing negative sign, they'll take directly positive sign, they'll move ahead. And at the end of the moment, they'll lose that mark, that question. So what I suggest, first of all, when you go through 25 questions in a paper, whether it is mathematics, physics, or chemistry, when you go through 25 questions, just mark them up all, select few number of questions which you can solve within 20-30 seconds. Suppose out of 25, if you are able to solve around 8 to 10 questions without using much mathematics, much calculation part, if you are able to solve around 8 to 10 questions, if you are left with some more questions still, again segregate them in such a way that they may need 1 minute to 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes to go through the calculations. You can do them in a second round, not in the first round. So by that segregation, what can you do? One thing, all the easy questions you can pocket up without solving any mathematical part or any calculation part, without touching it. And in the second round, when you are focusing on all the calculation part, already you have done certain number of questions, so that you are completely free from the pressure. Your mindset is completely free, so that in a relaxed mode you can solve each and every question and take care of each and every step. And suppose if you don't get answer after all calculation, still you are quite confident that you know the concept, you are solving correct, but you are not reaching that answer. That means you must have done some sign mistake, or somewhere addition multiplication mistake you must have done. You need to re-verify again that answer, that solution what you have done. So that what I suggest, even it is a rough calculation, write every step in a clear-cut way. It's not like a mess up way. So that when you go through again within 10 seconds, when you are going through that solution, you can find out where you have done mistake, whether it is plus sign or minus sign, multiplication or division. By that way, you can minimize your mistakes. You can reduce your negative scores. Okay?
The based on the biology, particularly biology, given nearly in, for example, zoology and botany, based on these topics is enough, because of already first year, second year almost completed syllabus. Now, in the based on the NEET examination, they will give only NCERT books is enough, 100%. The mainly in examination is also the based on the concept orientation questions only 75%. Remaining 25% based on the memory questions. For example, they will given the different type of questions. Means matching type questions is also given last year based on the previous examination. Even 13 bits based on the matching type questions. It is also one of the biology the most important key role in NEET examination. Is actually the particularly based on the biology of these all chapters. You should prepare the another practice type questions. 100% will fulfill the NEET examination.
So the 3 months, right?
We have only 3 months, and leaving biology aside and physics and chemistry to consider, we have a huge syllabus to cover, right?
Correct.
So, should we go with the whole syllabus or chapters having like good weightage?
Examination, yes, they are having overwhelming weightage to decide the rank. What I suggest for your question, let's say if I'm talking about the chemistry, if there are around 30-35 chapters, let's say there are 35 chapters, right, including first and second year. Out of 35 chapters, all chapters are not tough, in fact. So first I would suggest you to segregate them into 3 levels. Let's out of 35, there might be around 10 to 12 chapters which are quite easier, right? And around again 10 to 12 chapters which are maybe moderate. There might be hardly 8 to 10 chapters which are tough. So give least priority to all those 8 to 10 tough chapters. So even though the 10 chapters, if you keep them aside for now, remaining 70% of the syllabus you can cover up quickly, so that you can cover up them very quickly within the given time, available time, as well as you will boost up with a lot of confidence when you go through around 70% of the syllabus. With that confidence, if you start working on the all the last tough chapters as well, you can recover them as well. First, segregation is important, and accordingly schedule them how to recover them within the first coming 2 months, because you need to cover up them within 2 months. The last 1 month you can use it for revision, right? Yeah.
Or should I increase my accuracy in strong topics?
At the right time for accuracy, because I've been looking at your papers, I've been looking at the way you're writing. Uh, Instead of writing the entire paper, instead of attempting the entire paper, they're making more mistakes. Recovering those mistakes will bring a huge difference. I'll just give you some examples. If people are, let's just say, attempting 50%. I've seen some of your papers where you're making 25 mistakes in 50%. If only you bring 25 mistakes down, 25 mistakes is like 125 marks in the exam. So recovering mistakes, in my opinion, is the right thing to do at this point. Going for the new topic, going to learn the covering the extra topic is not the right idea at this point. Because just recovering your mistakes, I've been telling you people already, even in the exam also, you put your idea, you put your concentration on recovering the mistakes. It is a very important idea. People don't consider this, but it is a very important idea. Just bring the accuracy levels up. Make sure you're committing less mistakes. How you do that? You have to improve your calculations. You have to improve your speed. That only comes with the practice. You can't just expect to run like Usain Bolt overnight. With practice only, this happens. Okay.
It's definitely required. But before, let's say if you are going through chemical kinetics chapter, which is there in inter second year. When you go through that chapter, first you need to go through the theory within first 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes. Once you are done with that, I would suggest you to go through all the question papers through which you have already gone. You have already went through, right? Once you went through all the question papers as well, after, or maybe your strength in the topic by going through previous question papers. But don't go directly.
Basically, organic chemistry, sir. Like mainly, if we come to organic chemistry, I'm fumbling, sir. While answering the question, I'm going into confusion. Like, is this the correct answer or not? So, should I become strong in organic chemistry as it has much weightage, or become strong in the physical inorganic chemistry?
Main or advanced, or maybe BITSAT kind of, or maybe NEET kind of, any kind of entrance examination. Fortunately or unfortunately, in chemistry, there are equal weightages for organic, inorganic, and physical. You cannot neglect entire organic chemistry. By neglecting complete organic chemistry, you cannot survive. Very difficult. So what I would suggest to you, you are saying that you are already good at physical and inorganic. They are the strengths. Give highest priority to both physical and inorganic in your case. And at least try to give 45 minutes to 1 hour extra time to recover organic chemistry. And how to recover organic chemistry? Don't directly attack secondary syllabus. First, go through GOC part and isomerism part in first year. Spend around 6 to 7 days upon it, or if it is required, you can spend around 8 to 10 days, not a problem. Once you are so good at GOC part and isomerism part, it's not so big deal recovering of remaining inter first year syllabus and second year syllabus. So spend enough time for GOC and isomerism. The same amount of time you can spend for rest of the organic chemistry, so that we can recover. At least recover NCERT textbook content, particularly from second year syllabus. First, when it comes to first year syllabus, regarding organic chemistry, first year syllabus is not good enough from NCERT, but for second year, upon second year syllabus, it is more than good enough for NCERT, up to JEE main level I'm talking. Okay, so by that way you can recover.
Thank you, sir. Whenever I revise, there are always few questions which are completely new. So, like out of every 10 questions, maybe 2, 3 are always completely new concepts. That creates uncertainty. In the exam also, I always have this uncertainty if I actually know the topic or not. And that creates confusion what to do and what
The
not.
subject is mechanics. Like I said, in mechanics, it is just a known fact. No matter how many questions you prepare, I can give you a new model. So that is something that you should be ready for. If you are if you're finding it really difficult to just face new questions every time, I would suggest you to get stronger at the other topics. Like there are, like I said, in mains exam there is 60% of the weightage to second year topics. There's only 40% of weightage to first year topics. So if you are putting all your concentration on the 40% syllabus, which has more risk, which has more syllabus, which has more to cover, that's not a great idea. So at this situation, I would always give my weightage to second year syllabus, definitely. It has lesser risk, more syllabus, and there is more chance to score marks. I would always suggest to go for the second year syllabus. But mechanics, there is nothing that we can do. It is the topic is that way. No matter how many questions you cover, there are always new questions. So I would suggest to just go with the second year syllabus and second half of the first year syllabus, like the gravitation, elasticity, thermodynamics, and all. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. So there is only 1 month left for both IP and mains exam. How do I parallelly do them? How do I cover most of the topics according to weightage, or what should be the criteria to answer both patterns?
Okay, in your case, how to balance both IPE board exams as well as JE exams. So what I suggest for particularly for Telangana state board exams, there is only 70% syllabus for inter-secondary, right? Secondary board exams. So you need to focus on that 70% first of all. Let's say if thermodynamics from physical chemistry